Hey guys, it's Thunderbolt and I've come here with a really interesting video. So you know how in the Dragon Ball Super manga, Kaioshin mentions that there are only 28 planets with mortals on them, and then he does the same thing in Dragon Ball Super anime as well. And if you're a longtime fan of Dragon Ball, you must be like, huh? I'm pretty sure there's more than that because I've seen a lot of planets. So I have sat down to figure out exactly which 28 planets the Kaioshin was talking about, and I think the results are rather interesting. Before we get started, please leave a like, subscribe. Let's get right into it. Now to figure out exactly which 28 planets Kaioshin was talking about, we have to follow a bunch of rules. Rule number 1 is that we stick to the living realm, okay? We are only gonna talk about the planets in the living realm, which means the heaven planet in the Kaio realm does not count. Rule number 2, Beerus' planet and Zuno's planet won't be counted. If they are in the living realm, but Beerus and Zuno are not mortals, so we are only talking about mortals here, therefore these planets are not counted. Rule number 3, we stick to the super timelines, okay? Planets of other timelines shall not be included. There are two super timelines, the super manga and the super anime, and I'm gonna list the media that are included in these timelines. The original Dragon Ball manga is included, the Jaco the Galactic Patrolman manga is included, the Yo Son Goku and Friends Return Special is included, Dr. Slump is included, and of course we have the super manga and the super anime. And then we also have the Dragon Ball Super movies, Broly and Superhero, and finally the Dragon Ball Z movie Resurrection F, because Resurrection F has a manga that ties in directly to Dragon Ball Super's manga. Only these medias are included. Absolutely nothing else is included. The Dragon Ball Z fillers are not included, any of the other movies that I did not mention are not included, obviously Dragon Ball GT is also not included. Now this, thankfully, narrows it down by a lot. But then you must be thinking, hey Thunderbolt, even if it does narrow it down, there's still the elephant in the room, that is the Frieza planets. We know that the largest numbered Frieza planet was planet 448, which means there are at least 448 Frieza planets. That is way more than 28. How are you gonna explain that? Don't worry, I have an explanation. Take a look at this planet. This is Frieza 79. Look at how it's an empty planet with only one outpost on it. That is how most of the Frieza planets are. They're empty because what happens is Frieza sends his soldiers to take over the planet. If there is anyone living on the planet, they kill everyone, and then Frieza either sets up an outpost or a base on the planet, or he sells the planet to another race. So many of the planets are actually just planets with outposts and bases, and I think we can exclude those planets. Another type of planet that I want to exclude is a planet like Potafo. I know I probably said the name wrong, but Potafo is the planet where only one guy lives, Potage. He's literally the only one that lives on the planet. No one else lives there. This is the copy Vegeta Saga planet basically. So I think planets like this should also not be included. Unfortunately, that also means that planets like this being Wampa, should also not be included, because Kaioshin is thinking about all the planets from where he can try to recruit people for the Tournament of Power. He did not know that Broly and Paragus were on Wampa, and other than that, in his head, Wampa was only a planet filled with beasts. Which means we now have to add two more rules. Rule number 4 is that planets that have mortals but no proper sentient civilization shall not be included. So thanks to that, Potafo and Wampa get excluded. And rule 5 is we will only use those Frieza planets that are confirmed to have full-on civilizations. Lone outposts and bases do not count. Now that we have all 5 rules set, let's begin the count. Planet number 1 is Yakon's planet, the planet of darkness, Angoku. Planet number 2 is Banna. This is a planet that Beerus went to, where he consumed an ultra sweet black fruit sauce, and he described this as pleasant, which means he liked it, which means the planet still exists. He did not destroy the planet's civilization. Planet number 3 is Cereal. This is a really important planet. It used to be home to the Cerealians, but now it's the home to the Sugarians. A lot of things happen on this planet. Goku unlocked True Ultra Instinct on this planet. Vegeta unlocked Ultra Ego. Frieza showed off his black form. The strongest mortals in the entire universe fought on this planet. It's a really cool planet. Planet number 4 is Earth. Probably the most important planet of Dragon Ball. Planet number 5 is Frieza 448. The reason I've included this planet is because it was explicitly mentioned that the civilization that lived on the planet fought back against the Frieza force and took control of the planet. So they literally told us that there's a full-on sentient civilization living on this planet, which is why we could include it. Planet number 6 is Gaspa. So this is a planet that Beerus went to where he apparently saw dragons and one of them puked, I guess. Now the reason this planet has been included is because the only reason Beerus would go to a planet is if it had good food on it, right? And if there's good food, that means there's probably a civilization there. And look at the way he phrases it. It looks like the puke of a dragon species on planet Gaspa. He's speaking in present tense. He's talking in a way that makes you believe that the planet still exists, which is why I've included it here. Now, planet number 7 is this planet. It is Jaco's planet. Now, take a look at this one thing. You see how many different races and species there are. There's this frog guy, there are these guys, then there's Jaco's race, then there's this race and whatever this species is. So just keep in mind that there are planets that can have multiple different races / species on it. This is a very important point. I will bring it up later, but just remember it for now. Planet number 8 is planet Jung. This is the planet that has sky gold on it. Now, yes, it is a mining site, which means it could be similar to a Frieza outpost. But the difference is that the entire planet is rich in sky gold, which means the mining site is the entire planet, and to run the mining site across the entire planet, you need a lot of people. Way more than what you just need for a single outpost in a small area of a planet. What I'm trying to say is there are a lot more people on planet Jung than there are on a Frieza outpost in the middle of nowhere. Planet Jung also has, as you can see, the railway system and a police force. That's why I've included this planet. You can choose to exclude it if you want. To be fair, the more you exclude, the better, right? Planet number 9 is planet Manu. It's another planet that Beerus went to, most probably for the food, which means there's a civilization there. And again, he is talking in present tense, which means planet Manu exists, which means the civilization also exists. Now, planet number 10 is Metamor, a very important planet, even though we never get to see it. It's the planet where fusion dance was created, so thanks to this planet, we have Gogeta and Gotenks. And planet number 11 is none other than another very important planet in Dragon Ball, planet New Namek, home of the Namekians. This planet has a deep, rich history, and I'm sure that even though we know a lot, we've probably barely scratched the surface. The Namekians on this planet are the ones who are capable of creating the Dragon Balls. Now, planet number 12 is this very interesting planet called Nico-chan. This is a planet that shows up in the Dr. Slump series, which obviously, as I mentioned earlier, is canon to the Dragon Ball Super timelines. This planet has a king and a civilization of its own, which is why it's included. Planet number 13 is planet Sote. The Soteans that live on planet Sote are the ones that we saw on Potaphor during the Copy Vegeta saga. They are the ones who tried to steal the superhuman water. Planet number 14 is the planet where these guys originate from. The name of that planet is Planet Snack. These are the guys who came to challenge Mr. Satan and then got scared when they saw a dog. Planet number 15 is Tarbell's planet. Obviously, there's a civilization there, so we have to include that planet as well. Planet number 16 is this another very interesting planet called Planet Tek-Tek, and I'm pretty sure that the people that live on the planet are also called Tek-Teks. Not really sure. So one of the members of the Galactic Patrol is a Tek-Tek, and he shows up in Jaco, the Galactic Patrolman manga. And another funny thing is that Tarbell's wife also resembles the Tek-Tek race quite a bit. So yeah, this planet has been included. Planet number 17 is Wagashi. This is Monaka's home planet. So obviously civilization is there, which is why we can include it. Planet number 18 is a planet called Wartrin. It's a famous planet and they have good food that Beerus likes and he eats, which means obviously the planet exists and Beerus does not want to destroy it anytime soon. Planet number 19 is this amazing planet called Yardrat, filled with the mystical beings that have mastered all kinds of spirit control and spirit techniques. The instant transmission and the forced spirit fission techniques come from this planet. Planet number 20 is planet Zoon. Zoon is the planet of Pui Pui's race. Pui Pui is the guy that Vegeta obliterated during the Buu saga. In case you didn't remember who that was. And that is all the planets that we have confirmed names of, which means we can now move to planets that don't have any names, starting with planet number 21, planet of Vegeta's first appearance. This is the planet where we first saw Vegeta, and as Nappa said, We can finish up on this planet later, which means they did not kill all the people on this planet. And you can see there's an alien here with a gun, so it is a civilized planet, but they didn't kill all the people, which means the civilization still exists. And no, they did not blow up this planet. I double checked just to be sure. Planet number 22 is the half planet. This is the planet that Beerus destroyed half of. One can believe that there's no one alive anymore on this planet, but you know what? I kind of feel bad for them, so I'm just gonna kind of believe that life still exists on this planet, okay? Planet number 23, the planet of energetic beasties. So this is a planet where the prisoners that were helping Moro went to, and they were only going to planets that had a lot of life energy, which is why I'm including it here. Like the fact that it has potent life energy that catches the eye of Moro, that means that this planet definitely has some significance to the mortal level of Universe 7, which is why I've included it here. Then planet number 24 is the planet of teleporting hedgehog-like humanoids, another planet that Moro's henchmen went to, and this planet definitely has a civilization, as you can see here in this image. Now, planet number 25 is the planet of the 6 armed beings. Again, civilization exists, so yep, this planet is included. Planet number 26 is the planet of large domed structures, and these domed structures are definitely artificial. I don't think they're natural, and again, a planet with high life energy, which is why Moro went over there. And that's it. That's all the planets that we know of. That's 26 planets that Shin was probably talking about. Now, here are some planets that Shin was not talking about. So we have Whis' home planet, the planet that has the Jill bird. I think this planet is definitely outside Universe 7, so I don't think it was included. Now, Frieza number 17. This planet had the headquarters of the Frieza Force. So either this is just an outpost, or this actually is a planet with a full-blown civilization. This could also be the planet where King Cold took Frieza and, turned him into Mecha Frieza. You never know, right? Is it a civilization? Is it not? It's up to you to decide. Then we have the planet Popol, where Kibito mentioned that frogs live. Now, if Beerus had mentioned this planet, then I would include it, because then you would assume that there's a civilization there. But the fact that Kibito is mentioning it, I'm not quite sure. That's why I've put it here. So I'm not really sure about these two on the right. But for sure, Whis' planet is not in Universe 7, so Shin was not talking about that. Okay, now that leads us to what this tells us. Number 1. Most of the Frieza planets are desolate and only have outposts or bases. Number 2. Here are the planets where all the species and races of the Frieza Force might originate from. There are so many different species and races on the Frieza Force, so one must wonder, right, where are the planets that they come from? Now remember how on Jaco's planet there were multiple species and races, so we have to believe that some of the races that are in the Frieza Force belong to the same planet. Anyway, here's the list of all potential planets. Number 1. Banna, right? Civilization is there, so the Frieza Force could originate from Banna. Then we have Frieza 17, the Frieza Force headquarters. Frieza 448, the planet that explicitly told us that a civilization lives there. Jaco's planet, multiple races, you never know, there could be one from Jaco's planet as well on the Frieza Force. Manu, the planet with the toads. Since Beerus mentioned it, there's a civilization there, so some races in the Frieza Force could belong to planet Manu. Then Popol, Kibito Kai only mentioned frogs, so it is possible that civilization exists there, and if that is the case, then Frieza Force members could also originate from Popol. Then we have Tarbell's planet. It most likely belongs to the list of planets that are owned by Frieza. Then we have Wartrin, the planet with the good food that Beerus likes. Civilization is there. Very possible that Frieza Force members also come from there. Then the planet of energetic beasts. Moro said that it had high mortal energy. So it's not a stretch to believe that other than the energetic beasts, there are some civilizations on that planet. Then we have the planet of domed structures. This one definitely has a civilization, right? So yeah, possible. And then there's also the remaining 2 planets. Remember, out of all the 28 planets that Shin was talking about, I only named 26 of them, because we don't know which planet would go into slot number 27 and 28. So there are 2 remaining planets that we have most likely not seen, if we are following the rules, that is, the 5 rules. In total, there are 12 possible planets for the Frieza Force soldiers to originate from. I think that is very believable. Multiple races living on one planet, and now there are 12 planets to choose from. So yeah, even better. There are also some planets that I did not mention in this. I did not mention the planets that only have one confirmed race living on them. Like Monaka's planet only has Monaka's race living on it. We don't know that. There could be other races as well. But I haven't included Monaka's planet. Then I also did not mention planet Snack. I have also not mentioned planet Saute. Those planets, we have seen the race that lives on the planet, but that doesn't mean that's the only race that lives there, which makes it even better for us. But yeah, in my mind, these are the 26 confirmed planets that Shin was talking about, and I think it's really cool that I was able to narrow the really large number of planets down to 26 in a way that makes perfect sense. Thanks for watching. My name is Thunderbolt. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.